Leinster get their first win in Edinburgh since 2016. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Edinburgh started this one pretty brightly. They managed to turn Leinster over and they break from their own 22. Lang with a great carry gives it to Bennett. He was in behind, but he didn't trust his own pace, so he tried to give the wide pass, throws the ball into touch. Should really been a try there. Then Ala gets pinged for not rolling away, so it's a penalty to Edinburgh. They kick it into the corner. Interesting to see that they're going for the tries rather than trying to take the points early on. They're pounding away at the line. They're winning penalties. Leinster hold them out, but we come back for one of those penalties. Edinburgh tap the penalty. There's a nice little move, gets Mate into a bit of space. McGrath manages to chop him down. Mate grounds, but there's no try because it was a double movement from him. Edinburgh, though, they come again. McAnally breaks through the middle. Leinster are scrambling well. Edinburgh managed to recycle, though, and Buffeli gets over to score. The conversion is missed, 5-0, and it's all Edinburgh so far. Leinster, though, hit back almost immediately, get themselves into the 22. Some good carries. Harry Byrne really pulling the strings there. Max Deegan then brushes off a tackle to go over to score. Byrne converts that one where it's 7-5, Leinster in front. Leinster then get pinged for being offside from a knock-on. It was basically a high Buffeli kick. They used that pretty well, Edinburgh, as a tactic, especially in the first half. They're looking to score another try, so they kick into the corner. Again, they've got some good, strong carries. Venter forces his way over to score. Buffeli tags on the extras this time. 12-7, Edinburgh back in front. Buffeli then adds on a penalty to stretch the lead out to 15-7. Leinster, though, come back again. Osborne with a lovely delayed pass, and then they kick through. Crosby waits for it to cross the line before diving on it as Leinster players are closing in on him. Nice work from him. Like, he could have, just got rid of it, or it could have been one of those ones where he waits too long and then the Leinster guys get there. But he handled it well. Leinster, though, they worked their way into the 22. Highland gets pinged at the ruck, and Leinster go into the corner. There's some good Edinburgh defence that to keep them out. McAnally almost turns the ball over, but he knocks on. Leinster then go for the tap. It's a great rehearsed move. And Penny goes over to score. Some real nice disguise on it. Lots of options, and it's really hard for the defence to read who's actually going to be the ball carrier when Leinster do this. It's converted then. We're at 15-14. Leinster get themselves a little bit back in front, but from here they don't really look back. So you can see then they're beginning to go up through the gears. You got the likes of Osborne, Turner, Frawley and Larmour all finding some good space for them. Dave Carney then goes in a burst. He really strong through the tackle, gets through, offloads to Liam Turner, and then Mill crashes over. It's converted for 21-15. This is where Leinster take the lead. Yeah, Edinburgh were in the lead up till now. Then Edinburgh were playing with a man down at that point because Goosen was then injured, so Dean comes on for him. From an Edinburgh kick then, Frawley, he knocks on a bouncing kick. It's a decent position for Edinburgh with the scrum. Edinburgh scrum went well all night. They were winning penalties, and they got the nudge on a lot of the time. They go through the phases from this one. Leinster defending well, and then Dean knocks on. Leinster then win the penalty from the next scrum. Leinster didn't win that many penalties in the scrum, so this is a big one for them. Halftime score was 21-15. Just kind of an interesting note as well was when the clock went into red, Edinburgh just kicked it off the field for half time, whereas I felt it was Leinster were that close just before half time. They would have tried at least to work their way up the pitch. Edinburgh, though, into the second half then, some really good play. Buffelli, he's really good in the air, and they use it to their advantage. But, they were still behind after that first half. Leinster, they're just able to get, those scores that they need at the times when they need them. And they're beginning to look dangerous with ball in hand as well. Edinburgh, they spill a ball, and Leinster, that transition from defence into attack is so good. They break. Larmour weaves his way deep into 22. Then Osborne kicks diagonally into the in-goal area. Dave Kearney does really well to get there and then ground before the ball goes dead. It's kind of an acrobatic finish, similar to maybe James Lowe, except he's flirting with the end line rather than the sideline on this one. And he was actually, there was no foot in touch from him on it. But that's the bonus point try for Leinster. Conversions missed from out wide. We're at 26-15. Edinburgh then have a sustained period of possession in the Leinster 22. Mata gets some good go forward. He draws in some tacklers, and there's about 2 or 3 tacklers on him, and he just kind of reaches up with his hand and pops the ball off. Hyland then puts Buffelli over in the corner. Mata, he's some player, that guy. Conversions missed. We're at 26-21. Edinburgh then are pinged for not releasing the tackle. Leinster kick it to the corner. Edinburgh managed to halt them all at the line-out. Leinster go through the phases. We have pick and goes. It's relentless from Leinster, and Milne finally gets over. It's converted for 33-21. Edinburgh then they kick out on the full, and Leinster capitalise. They come back up. They go through the phases. Ala Latoa goes over after some good work from Dave Kearney. Felt he had a fairly good game. That's converted. It's 40-20. Larmour then makes a break on the right wing, and then they move over to the left. Scott Penny goes through a gap. He's got options either side. He kind of sells a bit of a dummy and goes in to score himself. That's converted for 47-20. It was a tight game, but not anymore. Leinster then almost had another one. Penny trying to offload, and it's batted back by Dean towards his own line, and Tector gathers it to ground, but Penny actually lost control on the ground, so it's ruled as no try. Leinster had a lot of possession here. They had a couple of taps as well, where Barron just kind of ran straight, where we were wondering what they're going to do with it. Maybe they're trying to keep the powder dry for other games with more variations. But they brought on a lot of young lads at this stage, and a bit of their continuity kind of went there. But they're kind of keeping Edinburgh pinned in their own half for a bit, but just not able to add to the score. They're making errors, but there's good defence from Edinburgh. And then when the scrums come, Edinburgh win the penalties that are allowing them to clear, relieve a bit of the pressure. Finally, then Edinburgh do make their way up the field, and Sam Skinner gets their bonus point try, which could prove vital for them towards the end of the campaign when it comes down to who gets into knockout stages or not. That was with 3 minutes to go. Mata again was involved. He'd actually gone off, and then he had an injury, so he had to come back on. And I think at that stage, Yeah, I think maybe both teams were down to 14 because Leinster had somebody off already at that stage. But it's converted about 47-27. Then Deeney gets a yellow card, basically for persistent infringements from Leinster in the minutes leading up to that. So Leinster down to 13 for the last 2 minutes, but the final score was 47-27. So, Edinburgh did well in the first half, but Leinster able to come through as we've seen them do a lot of the time. Now, let's have a look at some of the stats from the game. So, let's start with the attack. So, tries scored 4 for Edinburgh, 7 for Leinster. Like they're averaging 5 a game, Leinster. Possession then is 53% to 47. Clean breaks, 4 for Edinburgh, 11 for Leinster. It's just like some of those young backs that they have really do look like they're going to be special in years to come. Defenders beaten 22 for Edinburgh, 26 for Leinster. Offload 6-10. Into the defence then, territory was 50-50. Number of tackles made, 180 for Edinburgh, 173 for Leinster. Leinster made a lot of tackles were in like that first half, and then those last kind of 10 minutes or so when Edinburgh kind of came back to the fore. Missed tackles, 26 for Edinburgh, 22 for Leinster. Tackle success, 87% each, which is a little bit down on kind of the average, like you'd expect to be up kind of around 89-90. And then turnovers 1, 7 for Edinburgh and 1 for Leinster. So Edinburgh did well on the turnovers, but again, like most teams against Leinster, they just couldn't sustain that kind of pressure. And once Leinster started going up through the gears, there was only really going to be one winner in terms of kicking then. 3 successful kicks for Edinburgh, 6 for Leinster. Penalties conceded, 8 for Edinburgh, 11 for Leinster. And that penalty count contributed to Leinster getting that late yellow card as well. So, the performance from Edinburgh, I felt, is kind of a bit like the season. Started really well, then it faded away a bit, and then they have a little flourish towards the end, but it's too little too late. From the point of view of Leinster, I thought Turner and Osborne went really well in the midfield. Like we saw Fekitoa and Frisk performing really well for Munster, and these two are doing the business for Leinster as well. Byrne getting a run of games at 10 is going to be great for them. The back row as always went really well. The likes of Penny, Ruddock, we had Will Connors coming off the bench as well there, and then you had Max Deegan too. And then just the fact that towards the end, then they could get lots of players from the wider squad on the likes of Tector to get some minutes in them as well. And then Frawley was on a fullback as well, so good to see him getting some minutes. And they're put under pressure in the first half, but they came through it well. And it's the kind of thing that they're going to have to do towards the end of the season as well, is that when that pressure is applied to them, not to fold, just to work their way through it and trust that they have the ability to come back.